Hey guys, this is Bezmor, and I've got some PvP stuff for you today. There's 3, maybe 4-ish sort of separate clips here, and I'm going to go through them one by one. This first one, I was just like, let's go out west and PK, and sure enough, there's a whole bunch of fully buffed people. Why am I not surprised? Well, I shouldn't be surprised, because, you know, that's just how life is when you're a psychic and everybody hates you. But, needless to say, I got a little bit ganked here, and I thought I would show you why it sucks being a psychic. But I'm just going to start commentating, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So anyways, I will go out on the Mystic, she starts fighting me, and then the Barb's like, I'm going to come over and be a dumbass and try and CC you so you can't do anything. And then I was like, well, fine, I'll hit you instead. And this is like a completely half-assed gank. I'm not saying, oh look, they're ganking me 2v1 yet, because this is clearly just being stupid. You know, the Barb's like, oh, I'm gonna mess around with you, and then the Mystic's like, blah 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 blah. And I hate that heal suck skill, so I was just like, I'm not gonna stand next to you. I'm gonna run away and wait for that to go away, and then come and deal with you. So anyways, this is where I was like, oh shit, no, now they are just straight up ganking me, and you'll see that the Mystic has 100% full buffs. The Sin has the defensive pill on, it looks like. I mean, they've got magic defense and HP. That's the only ones they need against the Psychic, right? And the Barb had pretty much full buffs. And you'll notice I have none. I don't even have my coin buff right now, which is bad because I got purged by the Barb. So anyways, at this point, I'm kind of like, ugh, why do you guys, like... Is it really necessary? But then you can tell they're not very skilled, because to avoid triple spark, I pressed 9 once, and then I pressed it again, and then I moved my WASD keys, and oh look, half of their triple sparks already gone! Congratulations, you suck! And then here, I got the title, so I was like, time to go aggressive. Immediately switched to Black Voodoo, and I was like, I'm gonna try and drop some cooldowns and just nuke this person off the face of the planet. Now, unfortunately, I got interrupted. The kill, I would have killed them right there, I think, except the Mystic sealed me for about 3 seconds. That's maybe 1 or 2. Oh, dang, that's a long seal. It's a couple more hits, and as you can see, I ticked the dead nerves right there, and it popped, and I went for my Apoth to try and finish out the kill, but at this point, I can't get the kill with Apoth because the Mystic just healed him. So it was like, well, that all-in failed, and I sort of blew my Apoth for it, so time to go into super tank mode and see how long I can last. And granted, it's still a 2v1, but this Sin has a Crown of Madness and pretty much full DOT/deities, so don't think like, oh, the Sin is like not geared or something. Like, look at that. Yeah, 2 on the server, okay? 2. And this guy has 1. And so, I mean, the Sin is clearly not exactly the most skilled, but they do just unbelievably high damage, which is like, well, that sucks. So here, this is the other thing. When you Fizz Immune, you always need to drop your magic defense charms, because I just did and changed that. It would have been like a 4k hit that would have killed me to a 2k hit, and it saved my life. So just remember, whenever you Fizz Immune, to try and combo your magic defense charms. But anyways, this is kind of where I was like, well, I think I'm done, but let's be stupid and go aggressive. So I thought the Sin was gonna like wait for some really long cooldowns or something. I thought maybe they were like gonna wait for Chill to come back, or sorry, Dead Nerves to come back up. But they didn't, and they attacked me. So instead, I just looked like a moron and was in Black Voodoo. So I decided, you know what, screw this. I'm going to go all in, go for the kill again using my Absolute Domain, which was, of course, a mistake, and then try to get the kill. And then it's like, bam, here I'm dead. And so what I could have done is like expelled instead of ADing, and then that would have lasted way longer, and then probably tried to rotate into White Voodoo and continue tanking. But I was like, you know what, if they're gonna gank me, like, I'm not really gonna put a bunch of effort in. This is just stupid fighting it, because I can't kill the Sin. The Sin is squishy enough that I can kill, but not with the Mystic healing, and the Mystic's not squishy enough that I can kill while tanking the Sin. You know, it's this wholly stupid situation. But anyways, this was the day after that situation happened, and I was like, man, these people are jerks, but whatever. So this time I was like, alright, I'll at least get cleric buffs and go out and fight this this Blade Master, who has cleric buffs as well, so it's kind of stupid because Magic Marrow plus cleric buff is OP. But I didn't know I was gonna get ganked. Again, I should have known. I didn't. That's my bad. So anyways, here, as you can see, I put some decent damage out, but then I was like, oh gosh, there's a Mystic. Well, back to defense mode, team. So anyways, in this situation, I was like, well, I'm just gonna see what I can do. And I use Fortify pretty much every time I get reeled, because I'd say probably 2 in 3 BMs will Roar of Pride right after they do reel in and try to stun you right there. And so insta-fortifying will oftentimes prevent that, and then you just kind of walk away and they stand there dumbfounded like, oh, my stun didn't work. So that's the other reason I love Fortify on F1. But anyways, that aside, here I'm just like, well, I'm trying to get to the BM. I don't know where he went. I'm just gonna tank this Mystic, because the Mystic apparently doesn't know how to kill. does not do damage. But here, as you can see, now they're trying to purge me, and I'm like, really? You've got to be kidding. And this fight, it went a little bit different from the last one, as you're about to find out. So anyways, here, something, I think it was the storm, oh no, the Mystic proc to the stun reflect, and I didn't have my safety lock off, and I didn't have my autopod on, blah, 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 blah. But here, the Sin was about to come and gank, and as you can see, they got the Purge bow out, it looks like, because, oh no, a Psychic with Cleric buffs? That can't be fair. But then, the AoE for the win dropped the Mystic, dropped the Sin, or sorry, dropped the BM and the Sin simultaneously, and then I was feeling great. I was like, you done messed up, son. So then I was like, alright, time to fight the Mystic, 1v1. They have full buffs, and I was like, well, I know they won't kill me because they're not very good at killing, but we'll just see what kind of happens here. But, that doesn't last for very long, as you're about to find out. So anyways, I put on my diminished figure, which really, against the Mystic, it only gives you the decrease in charm ticks, because their own, as you can see, they have the empowered vigor icon on themselves. So I'm not reducing their healing or pots or whatever, because they're buffing it and I'm reducing it, so it basically ends up the same. So the only advantage I have is that I can make their charm tick really slow. But as you can see, this Mystic, all they do is cast Falling Petals and then heal on themselves all the time, and then they throw out a plant, they throw out a pet, and then they try to all-in you and get sealed, and look, back to heal, back to Falling Petals, and then, okay, let's try to hit him again, let's try Thicket. Like, this is not how you kill on a Mystic, I'm sorry, just throwing that out there. Maybe go learn how to do some damage combos or something. I mean, whatever. So my strategy here was I was going to combine Soulburn with Telekinesis into a Tide Spirit combo. The Soulburn counteracts the heals a little bit. The Telekinesis gives me an extra bit of burst, and the Tide Spirit gets me the insta-channel on Sandball Clash, which gets me the silence, and then maybe if I'm really, really lucky and they don't get a heal off, but as you can see, they just sit there healing. So, you know, there's really nothing the Psychic can do to kill a Mystic who has, like, uber gear, except get them to half HP and hope you get a really, really freaking good crit all of a sudden. That is before you can heal or their Falling Petals kicks in, neither of which is particularly easy. So, fighting Mystics is dumb. I have come to the conclusion that fighting Mystics and Clerics are like the two dumbest things, but thank goodness Annie the Fox did something right for once. They interrupted a 1v1 with a stupid Mystic. I was actually kind of glad, to be honest. But here I was like, well, back to, you know, get aggressive, or like start being safe mode, because I don't want to, like, you know, get ganked and then just wrecked. I want to at least, you know, put up a little bit of a fight. And so I was like PMing somebody. I was like, can you maybe help me PK? And here, I noticed that the Vino does not have Cleric buffs, which means I can actually hit them decently hard. So I was like, let's burn AD, save my Cleric buffs, and then maybe save for an all-in combo. But then again, safety lock kind of screwed me. And the Sin comes back, and so then it becomes like a 3v1. I don't even know. Oh, yeah. So anyways, I ended up dead, and I was like, well, that's kind of douchey of them, but you know what? They bring their friends to fight one person who only has Cleric buffs, so why don't I just bring my friends? And so, you see, the problem is, if you're fighting somebody who has friends, you have to be really careful that their friends aren't better than yours. And in my case, my friends are pretty much strong. So here, this is the other thing about offense gear that I'm going to put out there. Offense-defense gear gives you the best of both worlds when you want it, right? Like, I have... Like, if you use the set I have and you, like, maxed it with deities, it's close to actually almost better than a Crown of Madness and Wings of Ascension, because you get magic and you get 2% crit and you get 5 attack levels as opposed to 7. And then, you know, if you fully deity shard it, you know, it's like with Crown of Madness, Wings of Ascension, what you're getting is a bunch of PDEF instead of a bunch of extra magic to give you damage. So, like, theoretically, your offense is really, really strong. And then my defense gear is great because I have a helmet with more defense levels than a Crown of Madness, I think. And then it also gives me a crap ton of HP. Then again, so does Crown. Basically, you know, you get the best of both offense and defense, but when you do stupid stuff, like forget that there's a Crown of Madness Sin on the other side and go Black Voodoo in your squishy gear and get one shot, that's when you say, oh, maybe having both sets of gear was a bad idea. So if you use the strategy of having an offense and a defense gear set, you have to treat it like Voodoo's, as if you were a level 95 Psychic with squishy gear. Like, you just have to be very careful about when you use which set of gear. Anyways, I think I made the point clear about using the two sets of gear. So back to the fight here. Now we have Blade Master, Cleric, and double Psychic. Because our Sin, I think he died somewhere. He wasn't even out there. He comes in the next round, I think. So anyways, I'm just trying to kill the Vino because once we kill the Vino, the cleric and BM can rebuff, and then nobody will purge us, and so we'll just win. And the Vino got wrecked, so now it's just like easy mode time, slaughter them, because we have two psychics who are both pretty well geared, and so it's just kind of like a cleanup. And thankfully, when our 4v4, 4v3, I don't know what this is, happened, they're like, oh my gosh, there's only 4 karma. Let's go and get a whole bunch of, let's get a full squad of 10 and then try and kill them. And we got a squad of 7 and said, come at me, bro. And then the next fight ensued. So anyways, this was just kind of the payback for ganking me. And then the next fight is probably the real one, which is the most interesting. So anyways, just showing you, if you're a psychic and everybody on the server hates you, don't go PvPing alone, because yesterday I went out and I got 5v1 straight up. Like literally I was 4v1ing for about 10 minutes, and then finally the 5th person showed up and it was a sin, and it was like, pop. Yeah, this isn't fair. Anyways, this is the final round, and as you can see, they got some heavy armors. They got 3 different factions out here too. This is impressive, guys. But anyways, I'm again just going straight on the Vino, and I was in white voodoo, but I'm full buffed, and then I was like, oh, nobody is actually hitting me. I think maybe it's time to do my job. So I put diminished vigor, or attempted to put diminished vigor on. I think I got interrupted. Or I canceled it because I thought they AD'd or something. But anyways, got the diminished vigor on, and now I'm like, time to do kill mode. So go black voodoo, and I'm trying to focus on the Vino. Unfortunately, I think our Sin is dealing with clerics in the air, so he can't help us. And so it's like just me and the BM, because the other, I think they're on our cleric and our psychic, our other psychic and our mystic, but she's already dead, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, I'm just trying to get out here and do this, and I AD'd right here because I wasn't sure if that would hurt or not, because I technically did have the PDEF debuff on me, but I was like, I don't know. I'm just going to blow my AD because, frankly, why not? So anyways, I didn't die, which is the best thing to do in PvP, but now I'm staying on the Vino. As you can see, we've got pretty good damage on him, but it looks like a cleric just healed them, which is really frustrating. And the mystic is also healing them. So at this point, I think we lost 1 person, maybe 2, and we're about to maybe lose 1 more. So I was just like looking for targets, and as you can see, I didn't have my T menu set up to like classes or anything, because literally it was like they got 10 people and just charged at us. So I didn't know what I needed to set it to, but I heard the BM say get on the archer, so I jump in the air, immediately hit the archer like 2 to 3 times, and he absolute domains, jumps away, and then pop, stealths. Yeah, I know. Lame, right? So anyways, I was like, okay, time to find another target back on the ground, and I'm trying to, but it's being hard because there's so many and I don't have my T menu, and this is why you should have your T menu set up correctly. Also your damage log, which I don't have. You can tell I'm so good at PvP, guys. JK. Anyways, I found the archer again, and I knew he had no AD, so I was like, I'm gonna go to the ground and put some hurt on this guy. And this is why being on the ground when you're outnumbered is really bad, because immediately people are like, Bezmor's on the ground, Bezmor's on the ground, go, 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 go. So the Sin jumps on me, the BM runs over and tries to use a Dragon Rise, which would have been smart had I not expelled like a boss. Yeah, sorry, that was probably a bit douchey, but you get the point, right? I get onto the ground and was like, holy crap, this is bad. So I got into the air, looked at the minimap, and noticed that none of the green dots except for 1 are back there. So I was like, I'm going to fly closer to my team's green dots because I don't want to be alone and have all those people hitting on me. So here, even though I'm not on the ground, people are still like, kill Bezmor, and this is why High Magic Genie for the win. I was just like, let's expel again. And so at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't like this situation. My Genie is now on cooldown. I do have Apoth, but I don't think I need to use it quite yet. And as you can see, I did get my Psychic Will in, so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go ham. Try and put some hurt on these, because they do have 2 squishier targets, but the problem that we're facing right now is just sheer numbers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us, and many of them. They have like, what, 3 assassins, and a mystic, and a cleric, and a BM, and a barb, and I know I'm missing something. Oh, the Vino, and the archer, like many people. So like the problem is they have so much pressure they can output from sheer numbers that we can't focus a ton of damage on one target and actually get kills. And that's what you have to do to win a fight like this, is get kills. But here, I got some pressure off of me by just blowing all my cooldowns, so I went full offensive. As you can see, black voodoo, offense gear up, and I was just laying damage into people, hoping that maybe if we get enough crits on one person, we'll be able to drop them. But as you can see, the barb runs over, so I'm preemptive Psy Will, because I was like, this could be really ugly. And so the nice thing is here, I get stunned, but I don't have to expel myself immediately because I had the Psy Will lasting forever. Sage Psychic for the win. But anyways, the BM came over and then ran off, so I really don't know what his point was. But I was just like, I'm staying on and gonna keep doing damage, and eventually we've got to kill somebody, right? I'm not really worried about that barb hitting me. Like, it's kind of like another thing where the player doesn't know how to get kills on their class, so it's like whatever. And I finally was like, hey, look, the archer, somebody I can get kills on. Usually when barbs aren't hitting me. And then here I got purged, and so this is where it's like, dang it, well, I have to blow my expel again, just in case, because I don't want somebody to be like, oh, Bezmor's purged, go, 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 which, as you can see, the archer immediately was like, kill Bezmor, and then the barb is like, yes, kill, and so I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna die, and I told them invent, and I dropped my apoth, and then I ran over to the BM to try and get Bell, and thank you very much. He belled me immediately. So now with the demon active, I'm not too dangerous, except I don't have white voodoo up quite yet. So I'm just kind of standing there, and now I have white. So at this point, I'm mostly safe, because that one Sin who's hitting me right now doesn't really do damage. So it's like, and I put empowered on myself because I was like, until I get cleric buffs, this is still a shady situation. And as you can see, they're kind of going hard now that they've realized that there's been a purge. The BM comes over, the barb comes over, and the Sin jumps on me, and the other Sin's already on me, but they also grouped up for my BM, so you can see he's just like, AoE, bitches. But anyways, at this point, my job is to stay alive, and the funny thing is, I'm in black voodoo right now, and I'm still not dead, which is pretty impressive if I do say so myself, but that's partially because psychics are stupid. So anyways, at this point, I notice how much hate I'm getting, and I go back to white voodoo. I was just like, I cannot take this. And I burned my expel, I think. Shoot. So at this point, I don't have apoth, I don't have genie, and I don't have full buffs, but the cleric was finally able to get me a PDEF buff, so I'm like, yo, get at me. And Kugov drops his HF, and I was like, yes, I'm in white voodoo, but I don't care, I'm dropping AoEs. So this is purge number 2, I think, that happened. And that kind of spread everybody out. They didn't expect us to go all in, and that's like when you know there's experienced players. It's like they're in a situation where they're totally outnumbered, but they can still make plays that are huge. Like the other team is just like, whoa, ho, that was actually dangerous. How did that happen, you know? So anyways, at this point, I believe we started to get a few reinforcements. I think 2 Sins in our faction showed up, or they showed up soon, and I'm gonna die in a minute here. Oh, maybe not. I thought I died. I will die eventually, I promise, because I'm bad at this game. But, you know, the point is, I'm trying to just soak damage and let everybody get sealed so that my Sins can do their job. You can see we've got our Sin on the Vino so that we can maybe keep our buffs. And the BM is just going ham. He's, like, outputting damage, CCing as much as possible, just trying to do anything. And here, we got one of our Sins out, so I was like, get that guy over here and let him nuke some bitches. But the idea was, like, this is just a numbers game, and until we get some more numbers, my goal is to stay alive and pick at squishies, or just absorb as much damage as possible. So here, a Sin jumps on me, get my Psychic Will in, barely throw down the Magic Defense Charm, got Bell up, so I shouldn't die. The Cleric gets me, and it's like, can't touch this. Yeah, so I think, yeah, I was at this point I started targeting the Sins because I was like, they're the only ones I think I might be able to just pop really easily. The Sins and the Archer, and so it's like whatever's closest to me, I'm going to try and kill it. And here I burned a cooldown. I don't know what cooldown it was. No, maybe I didn't. Maybe I did here. Yeah, there we go. So I got my Psychic Will back up, and so these Sins are just like hitting me for days. It's like, please, can you hit somebody else? I mean, there is another Psychic. Why does it have to be me? But, you know, they were hitting everybody pretty crazily. And this is just why fighting with a numbers disadvantage is unfair. But the nice thing is, once we got, there's another Sin that's not in squad that showed up, I think, within the last minute or so. So he starts killing people. And then once we have our 3 Sins on the field, that's enough DPS to just start dropping bitches. And that's pretty much what happens. And here I finally got into a little bit of a problem because both Sins are CCing me, but neither one is the one that hits really hard. So I'm just kind of like, oh, actually, instead of running away, I'm going to sit here and let you do that while I mess around with your Archer. And I was like, don't purge people. So I threw my Vector over there. And this is what you can do when it's too risky to go black. You just go white and then Vector enemy DDs and hope your team can cover you somehow. So here, the Sin attempted to APS. Pretty sure that was a bad idea. I mean, he blew his apoth just to try and APS, and it's like, you don't understand. I'm white voodoo. It's really not gonna do much. So anyways, I could have gone black voodoo right here, but I wasn't feeling quite safe because I know that they have the Sin perma sitting on me, and so I wasn't comfortable doing it because I felt like maybe if I go black they will switch somebody else onto me. So here finally the sin leaves me alone, and I was like, now I can go black. So immediately switch, target the hard-hitting sin, who, I mean, you know, unfortunately is sparking 24/7, so then they keep getting 3-second immunities. But I was like, I've got to get some damage out on these squishies so that our team can eventually win this. So here we are, finally able to make some headway, that we've got the extra numbers / damage on the field, drop the rev pot so that I can see people, and I believe I die here. No, you know, maybe it's later. But anyways, staying on this target, and here I have full buffs minus barb, so I'm pretty confident in my ability to do stuff. My Apoth is back up, my Genie is back up, so as you can see, this is the time to go Black Voodoo. But if you look at my squad menu there on the right, you'll notice like pretty much everybody in my squad except me has been purged at this point. And we've got people going down left and right, and so the fact that I haven't died yet I think is actually pretty lucky, because I got purged 3 times? I can't quite remember, but when you're in this situation, you gotta know exactly what your limits are, you gotta know what cooldowns you can get away with using and whatnot, and then just go ham when the opportunity is correct, because I see too many psychics just sit in white, even when people stop pressuring them, right? They're like, oh, I'm gonna sit in white and just throw, oh, there it is. That's why I died. See the offense gear? Stupidity again. Wrong gear, get caught off, and then boom, you die. And the problem is, in my offense gear, I'm so dang squishy that I don't even have a chance to expel. It's just like, charm bypass. So, yeah, but anyways, like I said, you gotta just output damage. Like, that is your job, and if there are 2 or more people focusing you, that's fine. Go white, let them hit them, let them get sealed. Actually, try to stand in the middle. Like, empower, vigor yourself, stand right in the middle. Let everybody get sealed. Ooh, I should probably... yeah, buy some of them charms. But anyways, when you have the opportunities, you've got to go ham. And the other thing is, if you notice that your Apoth's been on cooldown for over 1 minute, you probably should have just gone Black Voodoo and used it. Like, I don't even care if you triple spark IG. People hate on that strategy, but it's like, well, it pretty much says for the next 15 seconds, people have to be scared. So, you know, if you're not using your Apoth anyway, and you're not, like, spending all your chi Psywilling and trying to stay alive, then go for it. I prefer to do things like 2 Spark and Tide Spirit because A, it is much cheaper, and, you know, it's actually faster a lot of the time. Granted, you don't get as much out of it, so it's kind of a big choice. But anyways, I got back out, I got my bell, I got my cleric buffs, and I was like, alright, I think I'm good here. Let's throw down the AoEs, and that's pretty much the end of the fight. We cleaned them up after that. I mean, once we got the even numbers, it was like, it's over. Like, our cleric can keep up with buffing. Like, you notice most of our squad is now buffed. You know, we can stay on top of them, and we've got so much damage on the field right now. I mean, we have 5 Tideborns on the field. Like, do you understand the damage potential we have available? It's so good. But anyways, this is pretty much the end of the fight, so that's kind of how it is, explaining my perspective on the PvP. I'm sorry it's been a while since I made a video. Life's been busy and my gear is crap, so I didn't feel like I could make good videos for anybody. But I will try to make some more videos. TW season just reset, so probably won't have any TW vids for a while, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys next time.